Hi, BookTube. Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and I thought I would do a literary ramblings update. So, I was off. I'm off for 3 days. It started yesterday, and then I have today, and then I'm off tomorrow. But of course, I have to go back on Wednesday, and then I'm probably scheduled to work on Thursday. So, because most of the time, with occasional exceptions like last week, I'm usually working on Thursdays because it's our busiest day. It's the senior discount day. You know, those over 60 get a discount. And at the other grocery store that is actually called Lowe's, not Lowe's Hardware, but Lowe's Grocery, it's actually I think it's 55 actually, if you get a discount, and that's when you get the discount. And then it used to be you could get on Thursdays before this whole pandemic and everything. They used to have the prime rib meal for $9.99, which I thought was really really great for the prime rib. And you get a I think it's a baked potato with some vegetables, and it was really really good prime rib. And then I think it was just the prime rib in the discount, but now it's just the discount. So, of course, I'm always working on Thursdays, except for, again, there's been a few exceptions. Like, surprisingly, last Thursday I was off. But anyway, I just want to update you guys what's going on, what I've been doing the last couple days. Thankfully, I love having more than a day off, because then it gives me more time to get my reading done. Of course, I'm always anticipating work's going to call me, and in the last couple times I've said no, that I can't go in, and they can't really do anything. They can't force me to, and I'm not scheduled. So my dad first told me when I first started working here, and I was feeling guilty because I was not volunteering to go in, or that I didn't want to go in on my day off, and he was like, well, you're not scheduled, so you don't have to. But I'm always worried they're going to call me, and I'm going to feel like, I'm going to feel guilty and feel like I better volunteer to go in. But, I mean, if you're not scheduled, then they can't force you to. Like, but, depending on how many days it allows me, the more days I'm off, the more time I have to get reading done. Although, the more days I have off, the harder it is to go back. When you have to go back to work the next day. It makes it so hard to do that. And there is one day coming up where, again, another day where I'm coming in, I have to go in at 7 in the morning, so that means I have to get up at like 5 or 6-ish, which is a pain in the butt. But I'll do it if I have to. And then, and then there are some days, and then I know there's going to be another day where I'm going to be not going in until the afternoon. Which the only downside of that is, yeah, I have the morning, but it's like trying to determine, okay, how do I schedule my time? How do I manage my time before I have to go in and do all the things I want to do? Like, there are some times where part of me just wants to spend all the time watching BookTube, but another part is like, I should get this should be a time when I should do some reading. Another part is like, well, I should get go for my run, and that. But each of those things takes up some time, so it's hard to. I've never been really good at managing time. That's why I always try to. It's probably why I kind of obsess over planners and having a calendar, and why it's so important to me. Why I love getting notebooks, because I'm always trying to find ways to stay organized and plan things, and I'm just really bad at that. I'm not good with the follow through. So it's hard to manage my time when I have to go in a few hours from then, and and then it means that I get home in the evening instead of so I don't have a lot of time after work, and I almost would rather get my work done, get that done and over with, and then the rest of the day, depending on when I get off work, will be devoted to having fun, doing things I want to do, like reading and just watching TV and watching BookTube and all that good stuff, and then getting my run in, and just doing what I want to do, and just getting the stuff that I don't really want to do, but I know is necessary for me to, make money so I can live in this beautiful capitalistic world. But yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan of. I have mixed feelings about, because the pro to going in late is that it means I get to sleep in a little bit more. But like I said, I'm someone who believes that I would rather get the workday done and over with so I can just come home and chill and do what I want. So anyway, I totally took advantage of these. My mom and I totally took advantage of my having these days off and did some Christmas shopping. Of course, that's what you saw and hopefully in my hopeful thumbnail. But first, let's talk about my reading. If you can tell, I did reorganize. I turned my book spines back around because that wasn't working for me. I felt like I was taking too long and I wasn't seeing the progress. And because I'm just a slow reader, and then I will constantly buy books, and so I turned them back around, and I actually alphabetized them by titles, which is how I have that document that lists all my books that I have. That's how I have that documented, is via the alphabetically by title. So I decided to organize that way. I will know where all my books are. And plus, that was the other thing, is I surprisingly do not know my bookshelf that well, and it will take me a minute to find books that find my books that I want to read. And I'm also trying to get to books that I normally are not the first books on my mind to read. I'm trying to, expand my horizons and pick books on here that aren't my first instinctive book to choose. Like, a lot of times my instincts, go to fantasy or go to a book that's not going to take me as long to read. So and that's why I put an alphabet, and I can still keep thinking about all these different ways I could have a more fair-minded TBR, like reading all the books in January that are all the color blue, because I love the color blue. I think January and blue kind of fit. I associate January with blue because I guess the snow and winter. I associate blue and winter at times. Sometimes, just like certain types of blue, like a darker blue, I associate more with winter. Like the baby blues, of course, I associate more with spring. But and then I thought about reading them alphabetically and starting January with my A books, or like 1A and 1B and 1C, and just. I'm trying to find, but then I never stick to those methods because I think too much about them, and then after, as it gets closer, I keep changing my mind and saying, I want to read this book, and I want to read this book, but I need to get to this one, and this book is going to take me way too long to read. So I just struggle trying to pick books that I want to. And I'm also not very seasonal. I'm more of a mood reader, which is a problem apparently, which I think in a way is a problem for my mom, because I'm always buying books, and then she's like, you need to get the books that you already have, and she reminded me, well, you're probably getting books for Christmas, because as I said before, I'm someone, as I said in one of my tag videos, I'm someone who will still ask for books for Christmas, and because, it's not as easy, it's not like I can buy like 10 books in a one shopping spree, or I can't buy them. I don't go to the bookstore on a regular basis. Like, I can't go every day, not just because of my job, but because I can't travel to the bookstores easily. And the one that I can easily travel to is only open, because of this whole pandemic, is only open 3 days a week. And it doesn't have the most not the biggest selection of books. I've said this before, that they take donated books, so the selection comes from the people that live in this area, and it's originally was a lot of retirees, so there's a lot of romance and a lot of historical fiction, and a lot of mystery, even more mystery than most. That's the biggest genre that they have here. Although the Roast Office Bookshop does allow me to pick books that I wouldn't normally pick up right away. Like, I recently got the book The Historian by Elizabeth Kostovo, Kostovo. I don't know. I think it's a Greek last name. And then I also got the and The Physician. And normally those are books I normally would not pick. And I've also gone into more classics. It's helped me with the classics, although it's still not the biggest classic selection. It's a kind of a small classic selection. You know, one tiny shelf, smaller, not even as wide as my shelf. But I remember that's why I was so happy and was like so. I felt so great when we went to Barnes & Noble, because the Barnes & Noble in Cary, because it was such a huge Barnes & Noble, and it was by itself with one other building that was like a warehouse, like a UPS or something, or like a post office was over there. I want to say it was a post office, but I remember I got so excited because it was so huge, and I just felt so overwhelmed, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to get. But anyway, so enough rambling about that stuff. So let's say, what am I currently reading? Okay, so because I was feeling like, okay, I better get rid of some books, I better find books to donate, I did decide to grab the chalk pen and check this out. I'm still not sure, because maybe it was just because I was tired, but when I was reading it, I was like, and normally I'm not, like, I'm not necessarily picky about writing style, but normally I'm not, but it did, when I was reading it, I was kind of like, the writing style is kind of to me. And normally I'm someone who doesn't really care about writing style, but I guess I do to an extent. Like, I get more excited when it's like flowery and sounds more like writing style of, you know, back in Dickens and Austen's time. You know, I like that writing style, the more flowery writing style. This feels a little more. Although I mean, although I wonder with this, because this author is this writing style similar to Stephen King writing style? Because then I like Stephen King, although it's not about his writing style, his plots I like. But you could, like, I definitely saw the references to King in this, how the inspirations for King, like the main character, like there are a lot of names and stuff, and you know, it made me think of it, like especially with the group of friends. You know, you had the one kid that was funny, the funny guy making snarky comments and sarcastic comments and sometimes downright rude. You have the one girl in the group. So yeah, it did feel it felt like King. I mean, I'm gonna try to read a little bit more, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep going with it or not. Because I bought it, so I was feeling like I should at least try it and give it a shot, because I did buy it. You know, it's not like I spent like $5, but still, I still bought it, so I want to give it a shot, because I want to try other horror books, you know, before I determine. Although I'm sure after I film this, I will probably look on Goodreads and see what people said, and you know. But I mean, it doesn't look that long, but you know, so I'm just gonna. But I guess I should, to be fair, I don't know. I'm still debating. I mean, I'll probably still look at Goodreads on this and see what I think, if I want to give it a shot or not. Because, like I said, I want to try other horror books other than Stephen King. Although I really like the idea of Dark Academia. Like, I've read a few books that are considered Dark Academia. And I want to check out some of the ones that are other ones that are. There's one that I can't remember what it's called. There was like a school setting, and I can't even remember, so I'm not gonna even bother trying. You know, if it randomly pops in my head then I'll mention it. But I definitely want to get more into Dark Academia. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep going with this or not. This might go in the donation back to see, that's the other thing. I feel guilty when I buy books at certain places, at like either the Black Castle bookshop or the Roast Office, and then I return them to the same place I bought them. Now, in this case, we will be going to the Black Castle, which I did not buy it there. I bought that one at Rose Office, and Rose Office is not taking donations at the moment because they don't want people are touching the books that are being donated or have been touched by our hands, and so it's like they don't want to risk germs. But I also almost done with Once Upon a River, which that's why I'm so happy that I had 3 days off, because I was not making a lot of progress on Once Upon a River. I mean, I was reading a bit, but I was not reading a whole lot, because as soon as I would get home from work, my mom might have Hallmark Channel on TV because she likes watching that kind of stuff too. Unlike my dad, who will watch like DI and the Discovery Channel or History Channel or some movie that or like golfing or something, some kind of sport or something he'll be watching, or DIY or whatever. And my mom, like I said, well, but when my mom comes home, she'll have, when I come home and my mom, it's just my mom, Hallmark will be on. So that can be a bit distracting. That was like, as soon as it was on, I was like, I kind of want to watch this movie. And, I'll turn off, I'll watch, I won't continue and I'll just, go upstairs and stuff. But then I'll be like, I actually kind of want to watch it. So it's, and I end up wanting to just want to chill. And then, of course, I want to try to get my run in. So, and then that will, unless, and then when I get back, I want to take my shower. Although the last couple times we've been going for, wrapping gifts and stuff, doing some last minute wrappings. And so it's just, I will only take a little bit of time to actually sit down and read. But then now I have 3 days off, so I had quite a few. Although yesterday, because we did a lot of Christmas shopping, and it's kind of hard to read in the car because the radio tends to be distracting. But it did help when it was a little less distracting when she just had one of the Christmas Carol stations on. She actually Hallmark. I asked her if she would pick the Hallmark, because she does have Sirius Radio, the Hallmark station. So it's really, which is really not, it's playing the Christmas music, but then you have occasionally, with no commercials, and then occasionally some of the actors from the Hallmark family talking about their latest movie of the year, of that season. And I love that because those actors are probably filming when it's hot, and during the summer, in spring when it's still kind of warm. Although it was pretty impressive that they were able to get a lot of the movies. They must have filmed movies during January through March. That's when they must have been filming all those movies, because surprisingly they were able to get them in before productions were shut down. With this whole pandemic and everything. So, because I think March is when everything started to shut down. People had to be cautious and everything. So, okay, so in this is such a beautiful book. And, which, by the way, I think people that didn't like The Starless Sea would probably like this one better, because there's, people say that The Starless Sea doesn't really have a plot. I have to disagree, because I feel like the plot is the main character, whose name I cannot remember. He's trying to find the Starless Sea and trying to understand what's going on with why is his life from, finding this, when he found this magical door and didn't decide not to go through it. That's, and him trying to understand, trying to figure that out, and trying to understand what the underground library is, and finding the Starless Sea. That's the plot. He's trying to find this magical thing. That's the plot. It's probably like Alice. It's like Alice in Wonderland, where our main character Alice has fallen down the rabbit hole, and everything's just nonsense and illogical, and she's trying to understand and survive this world and get back to her home, because she's starting to have second thoughts about this crazy world. So, but in this one, there's an actual, I think people would find this has more of a plot, because you have our main character, at the Swan Inn, this little girl and this man is this. Okay, scratch. I planned this out in my head how I would describe this book, but now I forgot. So the story takes place at the inn slash tavern of the Swan, where the Swan Tavern, where this unconscious man, and this little girl show up. This little girl appears to be dead. Show up at the Swan, but then all of a sudden she comes alive. And everyone is immediately drawn to everyone. Everyone wants to claim her as their own. Everyone becomes attached to her. And then there's these 3 families that think she's theirs and decide to claim her. The Vaughns, who are this couple whose daughter was kidnapped. The Armstrongs, who the daughter drowned. And then, I don't remember, and then this woman lost her sister. Now, I don't remember what happened to the sister, but she believes this little girl is her long-lost sister. And so it's just all about grief and family and trying to understand, and the importance of those things and how everybody deals with it differently. And it's so fascinating how determined these people are, and I'm still trying to figure out what this girl, I'm pretty sure that she's not any other child, because the book, if she was, the book would not be this long, wouldn't be as long as it was. There would be not as much left to the story if she turned out to belong to one of these people. If she belonged to 2 of the other people that didn't, because one of the families does claim the little girl, and if she did not belong to the other ones, that maybe it would still, but if she did belong to, but if she really was one of their child, or theirs, then their little girl, and the book might be a little bit longer, but I don't think it'll be as long as it is. If especially because I think she's not supposed to be any of theirs. I don't know if it's gonna be like a fantasy thing or what. I don't know if. I want to say that she's maybe some magical child, like a mermaid or a changeling or something. But I don't know if it's going to turn out that way. But there is a sense of, I think, especially magical realism, but I don't know. That just the feeling of it, and just, it deals with, the novel deals with, folklore and myths and stuff, myths and legends, and I feel like when you're dealing with that, I feel like there's going to be a level of magical realism in the story, which I need to look up, because I want to know if I'm correct in my thinking about what magical realism is. I should look up an exact definition of it. But I think Diane Centerfield is just fascinated by stories and loves stories, and how everybody has a story. That's another theme that they explore, is that everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason that they exist in something that happened to them in their life that shaped who they are. And I think that's kind of and I think Diane Centerfield in her book so far has explored a lot of that, and the idea of stories, particularly with this one and in the 13th Tale. In this one, you're trying to figure out the story of this little girl, and who she is, and if she is a little girl, and who she belongs to, if she belongs to any of these people. About in the 13th Tale, it was this one specific woman's story on who she was, and compared to running parallel to the other who's telling the woman who's telling her story, or learning her story. And I'm on section 3 right now, part 3 right now, so I'm going to definitely doing some more reading tomorrow. I'm gonna do some more reading today after I film this video, and upload this video, because I think I should probably do that first, because I wanted to do that before I get interrupted by my mom again, because that's what happened last time. I filmed. Because we ran errands and did some Christmas shopping, I didn't film until I got home around 4-ish. And I had filmed 2 videos. Or it might have been that I filmed them before we left, but I didn't upload them, and I didn't get to upload them until around 4-ish, close to 5. And so by the time I was like getting around to uploading them, an hour later, or a couple hours later, my mom, was calling me down for dinner. And I was also kind of doing this, reorganizing this, and alphabetizing it. And like, I need to go through it and see once again if there's anything. It's so hard though, because a lot of my books on the shelf I have not read, and a lot of them I'm still feeling a desire to read them. It's just hard. And then some of them I read, and I just feel like, and some of them are like collections of stories that I feel like I want to keep. I don't want to. There's like, I always come up with a reason to keep them in. A lot of times, people, and I'm sure people like, what is her name? Miss Kumari Method. What is her name? I can't think of her name. The woman that came up with the Kumari method. She would probably say, "Don't make excuses. If you're hesitant to, then you should get rid of the book." So this is great. I love this cover. Although I kind of want the one with the swan neck on it, but that's a hardback one, and I'm trying to get paperbacks. Okay, so let's move this. That's kind of what I'm focused on. I have not gone back to reading Tooth and Claw, but I did get to a part where it feels more Pride and Prejudice with the character of Felt, the Blessed Felt, who I guess is, I don't know if he's supposed to be a mixture of Darcy and Mr. Collins. I'm not sure yet, but I got to a part when he proposes to one of the sisters. I can't remember what her name was, the sister dragon. And he proposes to her, and she's like, "What? Are you crazy? You think I'm actually interested in you? Do you think I like you?" It's like, "No, I'm not gonna marry you." So I don't know. For that scene, he makes me think he's Mr. Collins, but we have not been introduced to the Darcy character yet. The Darcy Dragon character. So that's why sometimes I wonder if maybe they're combining Darcy and Mr. Collins with the character of Blessed Felt. But maybe the Darcy Dragon will be introduced later in the story, and like soon. And maybe they just want to introduce the Blessed Felt first. I hate when people have like F names, because then I get them mixed up with the THs. But anyway, okay, so as far as shopping goes, so first, I'm gonna go show you these because they will be the easiest to show. So I actually went to Books A Million twice this week, which I was surprised, but my mom had to go to Food Lion, which is right next door, so she was like, "Okay, you can go." Although she didn't ask if, was like, "Can you just buy like an accessory or a toy or something instead of buying a book?" But then she kind of, like, "All right, fine, you can buy a book." And I said, because I was like, "Can I just buy one book?" And I ended up kind of going around and buying not just a book, but also a bookmark, and I think just a bookmark and then a book. But I made sure I got a nice book, not just a $5 book, like in the clearance section. And I bought 2 bookmarks actually. But let me show you the bookmarks I got when I went the first time this week. So at times I prefer, I don't like the paper bookmarks with the tassels. They have the plastic over them, because in those, the tassels come out, and then the bookmarks kind of start to fall apart a little bit. I mean, I still like them because they have nice pictures on them. And that's the problem. I usually have pictures the pictures I like their TV shows or cute little images of animals or something. But they tend to fall apart a lot. And so I've been getting other bookmarks as well. So I found these magnetic bookmarks. I meant to get them before last week, before the other day when I went. Not yesterday, but the other day when I got these. I was like, okay, I'm getting these because I meant to grab them last time and I didn't get them last time. So see if Supernatural, you have Dean and Sam, Castiel, and Crawley. The four. I love those guys. Everybody loves these guys. I'm definitely a Sam girl though. I'm very much relate more to Sam. I would date Sam. Dean is one of the ones that you would have fun with and want to hang out with, and he seems like your cool brother that's can be annoying at times, but also can be, he'll protect you. So I got these, and then I got this one. I love this. This made me think of this particular quote was very like in the Santa Claus 2. There is a version of this quote said by the character of that Carol, the woman who ends up being Mrs. Claus. She says when she first sees Scott again after the last time Charlie got in trouble, they meet and they have this they kind of have this back and forth going on a little bit where she's like, which I love. I love when people that are going to be the future couple of the movie or of the novel or whatever or the show, they'll have scenes of back and forth, witty banter between the two of them. And she says, and first he's all like, he's dreading talking to his son's principal, Miss Newman, who's Carol, and he kind of agrees she can be mean, mean and hard, kind of cold, seem kind of cold at times, and which, you kind of feel bad for her because she's the principal, she is responsible for all these kids, and she really cares about them and wants them to succeed. And you can see that throughout the movie. Like, she really cares about her job and cares about her students. So she seems hard and cold, but she's, it's because she cares and wants them to meet their potential and do the best they can and succeed at school and in life and stuff. But, like, even Scott's a little like, oh, I don't want to deal with her, but I know I have to because I'm this Charlie's father. And, but he is scared, and he's like, something about that woman makes me want to face public property. And so they have this back and forth thing going on when she approaches them, is, she mocks the fact that he only shows up when Charlie's in trouble. And, I can't remember what he said for her to respond this way, but she's this quote, which is, I would challenge, although this isn't the exact line, this is not the line that she says, but the quote is, I would challenge you to a battle of wits, but I see that you are unarmed. But it was something similar to that. It was the same kind of quote, but it wasn't exactly that. It was a different variation of that quote. Okay, so then yesterday, these are the bookmarks that I bought. So first is, well-behaved women seldom make history. And then, hi Mom! Sorry, Mom just came home. And then the next one was the famous second star to the right, straight on till morning, which is the famous quote from Peter Pan. That's how you get to Neverland, which I really liked. I like that. So it's Peter Pan. J.M. Barrie is the person who the quote this comes from. Okay, so next is the books I ended up getting the day I got those first two bookmarks were these two. I've been meaning to get this book. I even took it off my Amazon wish list, but then I kept going back and forth with it, so finally I decided to buy it. And, Daniel Green likes it. Love this book, so a lot of times I go by the booktubers. Granted, I know we all have different tastes, and our taste in books is subjective, but a lot of times what makes me decide if I'm going to check out a book or not is partly to do with a booktuber. If a booktuber really enjoyed a book, a booktuber that I respect and I admire and I love their channel, particularly when I'm going back and forth with a book and trying to decide. So, but this is Ninth House. It's actually dark academia. considered where a woman is ends up somehow. Oh, and it's also blurred. It's also blurred by Stephen King, so that helped too. Um, but this woman who is, I think she's lower income or lower class, and she's been doing drugs and stuff like that. Somehow she ends up getting into Harvard. I think it's Harvard, and part of these secret society. And it turns out that the secret society of these people protect the world, like, from magic or deal with the magic in the world. And it's a two timeline story, and I believe in one part of the storyline, her her boyfriend, or the guy who becomes, I don't know if he becomes her boyfriend or is her, but he ends up, I think he's the one that's missing, and that's in the present day timeline, I believe. And then I decided to check out this. It was between this one and Frankenstein. And like I said, my mom had requested I just get 2 books at the most that day. So I decided to get 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea because I love this edition. I wanted to get more of these. And I like adventure story. I like the idea of adventure stories. And I was interested in Jules Verne and his work. And this one involves a group of gentlemen who end up going in a submarine led by Captain Nemo and explore the sea. But they're stuck, they can't go anywhere. They're kind of stuck there because Captain Nemo's like, you can come with me, but you have to stay with me forever. You have to live with me. And I think what also got me thinking again about Jules Verne is because I was watching Defunctland, a YouTube channel where they talk about history of theme parks and theme park rides and stuff like that, and the secrets of theme parks. And particularly the narrator focuses on Disney, and he was talking about in Euro Disney, they had for the Tomorrowland, their version was based on Jules Verne when it first opened. And that's also what got me thinking about Jules Verne, and that I'm interested in his work, is because was watching that video again. First of all, in that video, that whole storyline, it's not a story, but the idea of their version of Euro Disney's Tomorrowland, I was almost kind of jealous. Like, I wish our Tomorrowland was like that. I love Tomorrowland. I think Tomorrowland is really great. But I like the theme of Jules Verne. I think it's really cool. And I think it would have, and as the guy said in the narrator, the guys, the Disney people who were working on the parks, that's how they solved the problem of how tomorrow is always coming. Things change. Tomorrow always changes, and it's always coming. So they solved the problem of having to update the future land all the time because things are always changing and technology is always changing and advancing. By making it Jules Verne's version of tomorrow, because you don't have to change that because he came up with the ideas a long time ago. This is cool. It looks like a painting. But yeah, I love this. Even Larissa, when I took a picture of my books that I got that day, and I remember she said that she thought this one was really beautiful because it is the color and the letters for the title and all the quotes and stuff is really pretty. So I need to take this off. Let's take this off later. Wait, can I usually peel it off? Sorry, I'm trying to this. I don't like these. Ooh, okay, good. Yay, I can easily peel them off. For Ninth House, I do like the book box versions of these books. The ones that are in the subscription boxes, but I don't get subscription boxes, so because it's like it would be even worse with my book collection if I got subscription boxes. I would eventually have to get rid of all those books, at least some of them. So before I get to the best book that I got yesterday, I want to talk about the other things I got yesterday. So we went to Big Lots, and Big Lots does have a display of DVDs and CDs that they sell. Yes, CDs still exist. So I ended up picking up the second Alice Through the Looking Glass, and I enjoyed this movie. I know that, in fact, I think Lindsay Ellis did a critique of this movie and was like, what went wrong? I think it was Lindsay Ellis. It might have been someone else, but did a critique of this movie and what went wrong with it. And I didn't even watch it because I actually like this movie, and I know I can be really sensitive. And not that I ever message anyone or, be those annoying people that comment on videos that say, "You're wrong, how dare you?" Yeah, I might get upset, but I keep it to myself because I'm not stupid. I'm not that stupid. I'm not someone who's gonna, comment, because after some time and calming down and, thinking about it, it's like, well, okay, they have a good argument. They're entitled to their opinion. If they don't like it, they don't like it. It's not the end of the world. They're not critiquing me, although I still sometimes feel like the fact that it's something I like that you're critiquing, I gotta admit, a part of me still gets a little bit, gets a little sensitive and thinking and feeling like, even though I know deep down my logical brain knows that you're not criticizing me just because I like it, does not mean you're, saying you don't like me as a person. But it's just, you can't help but think if someone might be judging you if you like something. If they passionately and vocally say, this was horrible, this was bad, and it's like, thinking, I can't help but wondering, yeah, you say that, oh, it's okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but really, why do you like this? You shouldn't like it, Even though that's probably not true. People probably are not thinking that. I mean, there might be some people who really do genuinely think that, but most people I interact with are booktubers or people on YouTube that do critiques, so, most of them probably do not think that way. But anyway, either way, I thought it was really cool. So I got it, and it was cheap. It was either this one or Terry's gonna. If Terry from Florida watches this video, she's gonna be a little disappointed. But it was either between this or getting Next Generation's movie, one of their movies first, First Contact. I did see that one there. But I was kind of interested, but then I got more of an audible gasp when I saw this one, and I got more excited about this one. So if you watch this, Terry, I'm sorry, I chose this one over Next Generation. Which I need to finish that series. I need to get back to that. I think I'm on season 6 of that series. But this is, I guess, for $7. That one would have been like the First Contact movie would have been probably the same price, or maybe it might have been $5. But, which I guess this means previously viewed mean it's an used copy, but it's, it's still quality assurance. I may hope that's true. I'd be really annoyed if it's not. But yeah, so I got this and it was cheap. It was $7. A lot of times Blu-ray, depending on where you get it, it can be $20, or $19, or $19. So I ended up getting it, and I'm gonna watch it. And you also get a little bit of backstory on this one, which I think is really cool. I mean, I almost am curious if it was Lindsay Ellis' video. I'm almost curious to see what she has to say if it ever shows up on my feed on YouTube. If it ever shows up, I'm almost tempted to watch it just because. But then I know at the end of the day, I'm probably gonna get all, annoyed by the video if she's a lot of critiques. But anyway, so yeah, I got this. As you can see, I still have not opened it, but I will soon. It shouldn't be too hard to open because all I probably have to do is just slip like some scissors in the plastic or something. Okay, so I also ended up picking up at Michael's. My mom, I ended up picking up this. At first, I love the color, but I'm always looking. As I said in my earlier, I'm always looking for planners and different calendars and stuff like that because I'm always trying to find ways to stay organized And even today, I almost, when my mom had to go to TJ Maxx to pick up some more Christmas gift stuff, and I almost picked up like something to put on my desk to put like things like pencils and pens and all that stuff in for my desk, because my desk is always cluttered, you know. I don't know what I'm gonna use that day, so I think, oh, I'm gonna leave this, leave this out, and then I like to leave. It's something I can just leave it on my desk and just open it up, and it's like right there. But because I'm lazy like that. But anyways, this is a planner notes, and first I love the color, but I'm also I'm not good with the whole making straight lines and stuff when drawing, and even drawing the simplest thing as a square. So it's already drawn there, and it's kind of small though. It's still small, so I'm gonna have to write small. Which actually, I don't actually, now that I think about it, I don't really have a problem with that, because I'm someone who writes. Every time I write thank you notes, my mom's always complaining about how small they are when I write thank you notes. So it has a to-do page, it has like a monthly calendar. You guys can see it. Habit tracker. So I'll have to figure out how that works. I don't know what this is for, but I've seen booktubers do that where they actually draw them themselves. I don't know what these are for though. I'll have to look at that. Okay, and then this is, okay, I guess we're starting out with the next month. I guess those first few pages are January. So I guess it goes by monthly goals. And no, I don't have bills or anything, or, I mean, I do have one or two, like, I'll give, I don't really have any bills to pay, so I don't have to worry about that, but so another monthly calendar, and this one's a new, here's a to-do list, again. So the thing is, at the same time, I don't do a lot of stuff, I just read, go to work. Occasionally I might have something else to do, like organize my shelf again, or vacuum sometimes, which I'm gonna do that today, because, here's a tracker. I don't know how that works. I'm gonna have to. I do like the idea of colors. And then this is like the one page I showed you earlier, is the same as the other page. So it's not much. I guess they're not really different. I guess they're all the same. It goes by like monthly. Like I said, I still don't know what this page is for. But yeah. So I'll figure out. I'll probably have to look through it some more and just. And the good news, I have all the rest of December to look through it. Like, who knows? Maybe if my sister and them come, maybe my sister can help me, or my mom. My mom or dad can help me figure out how to do it all. The last thing I just want to say is the thing I got yesterday that I'm most excited about. And that is, so I've been meaning to get another copy of Frankenstein because I have a mass market one, but I don't like the mass market anymore as much anymore. I mean, I still have mass market books, and I'm not going to change for all of my books into non-mass market versions. Besides, some of them I might not be able to find at My Books Monthly. I might have to order online, and I don't want to do that, or reorder all my books. But so I wanted to trade in. I was going to get the Penguin one or the Arcturus one. But then I decided to splurge yesterday because my mom's like, requested I only get one book. So I was like, I'm gonna splurge a little bit, and I don't want to just get a $5 book. I want to get something really nice. So I got this Frankenstein 200th anniversary edition with illustrations. And I just love this story. And a lot of people, the problem with a lot of today's public is that they only know Frankenstein from the movies. And in the movies, they don't do it justice because they make Frankenstein, like, they make, the Frankenstein scientist, this, like, now, there's some people do Victor's character better, but there are some who still make Victor the crazy kooky scientist as this idea, like that dark comedy version with Gene Wilder, which I'm sure it's a great movie. And I would still probably enjoy it, but, I think you should also read the book too, because the monster or the creature, like, the only reason, like, it's because of the movies that they see the Frankenstein as a monster and as, the brainless oaf that just walks around like, and, has a square head and is green and has bolts in his head or in his neck, and is just, doesn't really talk much and is just kind of big and scary. Like, he's actually very intelligent and very emotional. Like, he slowly becomes more intelligent as the story progresses. And Victor is not someone that Victor Frankenstein is not someone you should really feel sorry for, because he's got maybe a little bit of pity, because I think there's a difference between feeling sympathetic for a character and pitying them. Like, I think you can pity someone and be like, pity comes from, to me, pity isn't always a positive thing. Pity can also be you are like, you're just sad. You're just a sad little person, and I pity you. You're pathetic, and it's kind of it can seem like an insult. Like a lot of very proud people, well, their reaction to pity is like, I don't want to be pitied. Even I don't like being pitied. Like, I don't always like being pitied. So I always say that there's characters like Victor Frankenstein that I pity them, but I don't. It doesn't mean I'm like, oh, you need a hug, you're just misunderstood. It's so funny, which I think that this novel puts into question that idea of who's the true monster. The creature, because he looks like a monster, or the doctor who decided to create life out of a bunch of people's body parts, a bunch of dead people. And basically then ignored and ditched his creation because he was so like, oh my god, I created this abomination. And he never takes blame for it. He never takes credit for his choices to do this in the first place. It's like, it's all this creature that he calls a monster, it's all that creature's fault. And yeah, the creature does harm, is scary looking and harms people, and at the end of the day, he's not, is he really the true villain? I love this 200. Now, it won't be as easy to handle, and it's still a bar, but at least it's not hardback. At least it's not a hard book. It's still like a paperback. So but what I like about this one is that it's illustrated. It's also by the same people that are connected to the Arcturus, I think. The Sweetwater Press. It has a lot of illustrations in it, which is what I love, and a lot of beautiful watercolors. And I'm guessing that's supposed to be Victor. Oh, and the other thing is, originally the creature is not supposed to be like, the creature's name is not Frankenstein. It was just an easier thing to call the creature that he makes Frankenstein. Like, for people to, in pop culture, to say the Frankenstein Who's that? It's supposed to be Elizabeth, the woman he marries. I don't know, but oh, so cool! Oh my god, that's so cool. So it's just, I mean, it's just funny, you know. It's just it's so cool. But I just had to get it. You know, it's like one of my favorite classics. And I love this edition. They're, you know, and I almost was gonna hold out for like English, you know, like English Penguin Library edition or the Vintage Classics edition if there was one, but I was like, you know what, this will be easier to get because it's right at the store. So, and with those special like Vintage Classics or cloth bound or the Penguin English Library editions, those go really fast because everybody loves them. Which I can't blame people. I love them. I want to get more of those, but anyway, I saw this. Oh, the pages are red. So I was, you know, I was just like, no, you know what? I'm gonna get this. You know, I just love it. It's so cool. Um. So anyway, that's my update. Like I said, I'm gonna keep going with Once Upon a River as much as I can in the next 2 days because I have one more day off after today. And then unfortunately I have to go back and work on Wednesday. Oh well though. It's all good. It's okay. I mean, I gotta work. You gotta work, you gotta work. And I do have a little another 3 days off coming up. It might be more than 3 coming up because, you know, coming up again soon. And then I'm probably gonna work during the week before Christmas because of that instant you know, coming up. And besides, my shortest, like, I'm part-time, so I don't work that long anyway, and we'll probably be off on Christmas Day anyway, so, but anyway, so that is what's going on with my reading today. If you guys like this video, be sure and give a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell notification below if you want to know when I post new videos, and, I hope you are wearing your mask, washing your hands, staying 6 feet apart from people, and being kind to everybody, especially this year. And I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.